Clock is ticking. It's less than 60 seconds and we are on. Yes, Prime Mega TV. I see you're counting down the time for us to be on. Welcome, guys. I know you guys are excited. You want to hear from our Nigerian educator this evening, and you will hear from her in a few minutes. So, we're going to give the others a few minutes to join and we're going to go straight into it. But I know a lot of people follow my YouTube channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton. You are from Nigeria and you have been trying to get that teaching opportunity in the United States, but you don't know where to start. And today we have a fellow Nigerian who will be coming to share her experience and how she climbed the educational ladder to get to teach in the United States, and not just the United States, but in so many different countries. She's going to be here with us today. We're going to be chatting it up. So guys, get ready for this. And if you have questions, you can put those in the comment section below. But we are excited and we are ready. Guys, wherever you're watching from today, go ahead and put that in the comment section so we know where you are and we can just shout out the different countries that's with us today in the comment section. Hey, Mandy and Damilola. I'm patiently waiting, says Happy. Wow, looking forward to it. You guys are really excited. Earnestly waiting. Oh, I'm eagerly waiting for this. I can't wait for this great moment of inspiration. I know you guys are ready for this one. Hey, Mandy's from Nigeria. Prime Mega TV's also watching from Nigeria. Wow. Guys, go ahead and put in the comment section below. Kosoko is watching also from Nigeria. We're also live on Facebook as well as LinkedIn and IG. So guys, wherever you're watching from, go ahead and put that in the comment section. I might not see all. I can see the ones from Facebook, IG, and YouTube from Nigeria. Yes, they're ready. The Nigerians are out in their numbers. Earnestly waiting from Nigeria. Amajola. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome. If you are new to this platform, please know I share a lot of information on this platform, Kicking with Dr. Britton, on how you can get a teaching job in the United States. So many videos that give you step-by-step guide as to where to start. You cannot afford to not subscribe to this channel. Hey, Sophia, all the way from Jamaica, teaching in America. Welcome, Sophia. We have Joy from Nigeria, Denise from Jamaica. Hey, Denise. Stephanie Walker. Hey, Dr. Britton and the others. We have Karina from Nigeria. We have Isa from Ghana. Ajiri from Nigeria. Guys, if I'm not saying the names properly, please do not be offended. I'm trying my best here, okay? All right, but thank you guys. Thank you guys. Without any further ado, it's now 5:06. You have been waiting earnestly, patiently, all the different adverbs you've been using. So now we're just going to get straight into it. We are going to be speaking with Janette, and she will be sharing with us her journey from Nigeria to the different countries she has been teaching with. So I'm not going to waste your time anymore, guys. Let's just bring Janette so she can give us all the information we need. All right. Welcome, Janette. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for having me on here tonight.
You are welcome, and I'm sure our viewers are going to be so appreciative for all the information that you're going to be sharing with us today. Hey, from Botswana, so much interest in relocating to the USA. Well, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. All right. So I would like you to expound on that some more, Stephanie, but let's keep going. So, Janet, can you tell us about yourself, please?
Well, this is something like an interview, so I'm going to make it really brief. I'm currently a curriculum specialist. I work with many schools around the world, but that's not where I started from. I started from a career in microbiology, and I went on to volunteer. I went on to be a TA, learning as I went on in my career, and then I loved it so much, I decided, why not? I'll be a teacher. And because of that, I've traveled everywhere. In Nigeria, we have something called Ajala. That's what I've become with my teaching, and I've enjoyed it.
Ajala. So
Ajala.
Ajala, is that the same thing for traveler?
Yes, it's almost like saying it's Gulliver's Travel. We have our own
Okay.
version of Gulliver's Travel. Yeah, someone who
All
travels a
right.
lot.
So your teaching started, you say, back in Nigeria.
Yes, well, informally in Nigeria, but it was microbiology that I studied microbiology. I was going on to be a doctor. It was, I thought maybe I could do a noble thing and save people, but then I couldn't get onto the doctor's program that I wanted, mainly because in Nigeria, as you know, we like to study. Oh my God. If you think that studying is intense outside of Nigeria, you need to go to Nigeria.
Wow.
Everyone studies like it's like it's the end of the world or something. And so I didn't get into medicine, but then I decided that I could be helpful in another way, and that's when I started teaching.
Okay. So after started teaching, what made you want to teach outside, or what made you want to explore teaching in other countries?
Well, I've always loved to travel. I love to read books, and every time I read a book, it just transports me to a different part of the world or wherever the book is talking about. And I just realized that, you know what? Why don't I take it outside of the country and just travel? And I left Nigeria I was doughy eyed, leaving Nigeria thinking that, yeah, all the doors are going to open up to me. But then I realized, yeah, it's not the same out there on a Nigerian passport. But I still have my Nigerian passport, even though I've traveled everywhere. That's why I loved it when you invited me on here, because I thought, yeah, everyone needs to know you can do it with a Nigerian passport. You just need to know how you do it.
Yes. So, um, I'm getting from you that you thought it was going to be easy, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So, which was the, or should I say, which country was the first country you taught in after you left Nigeria? And
Oh,
before we go, which country was your aim actually to teach in after leaving Nigeria?
I wanted to go to the US.
Yeah, but
I wanted to go to the US because I'd consumed American media growing up. It was just like, okay, let's go and see what they have there. But that was I think I applied to go to America 4 times and I was denied.
wow,
I must have submitted about 300 applications at the time.
wow, to teach in the United States,
Yes,
and you were denied.
I was denied.
So when you realized this was happening, what did you do next to, eventually get to the United States? Because I know you eventually got there.
Oh, yes, I did. Now, I'm a scientist, and one of the things about a scientist is that we never stop trying. We always have this idea that tell me what the problem is. I go back, sit down, solve the problem, and come back. If you tell
Right,
me no, it's not because you can't just say no, you have to tell me why. It's the same thing I tell the children in the class when I teach them. When you give me an answer, tell me why you've given me that answer so that I know that you understand it. So every time I got a rejection, I would write back politely, thank you for your response. And some of them were shocked. Oh, we've just rejected her, but she's coming back with a polite, thank you very much for rejecting me. Do you mind telling me what I didn't have that made you reject me?
right,
Now, after a few rejections, I was able to put down a map to understand there were so many things I didn't have that I needed to work in the US.
okay.
So I went about getting all those things by starting
What
my journey from Venezuela.
can you tell us what were some of the things they were basically rejecting you for?
Right. So one thing I realized working in the US and the UK and in Canada and in Australia is that there are so many CPD opportunities that teachers do in the course of a year. In Nigeria, we didn't really have that. When you get your degree and you start working, sometimes you're working for about 2, 3, 4 years and you don't really do CPD. You might do CPD in-house CPD, but it's got to be
Mm-hmm.
from a recognized an accredited company so that everyone knows that that's a benchmark. If you come with your certificates, for instance, you can't just apply with your certificates. You have to analyze it against other people's certificates so they know where you fall. For instance, if you're teaching in the UK, you have to submit your qualifications through something called ENIC, and ENIC will compare your degree and tell you what you have and if it's comparable to what teachers have in the UK. And I
Mm-hmm.
find that our certificates were not comparable to the ones in the US and the UK for some reasons like strikes and so many different things that happen to us, which is not really our fault. But
Right.
if we know where the gaps are, then we know where to plug the gaps. And once we plug those gaps, then we become comparable. And when we become comparable on the world stage, the sky's the limit.
Okay. You mentioned CPD. What does the CPD acronym stand for? I see Nadine asking, what is CPD?
So it's continuous professional development. So for instance,
Ah,
if I am a teacher, I can't just say I got my degree as a teacher. I have to continue to upgrade because education doesn't stand still. It's continuously evolving. For instance, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this one, what we did in the classroom before COVID is so different from what we do in the classroom now. Now, if
yes.
someone got their degree before COVID and you've not done anything to upgrade that degree, then you become obsolete. You're like a
Yeah.
dinosaur in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you were not doing any continuous professional development after your degree, that was one of the things that you were being rejected for. What
One.
about your English fluency? Did anyone mention that your fluency in English was another problem?
Yes, they would always class me as a non-native speaker. However, I was able to prove to them that I had 12 years of education in English language. They would always have me, it would always be like an informal interview. And when they sit with me and they have that interview, then they realize, oh, okay. So that's why I tell people, just get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Get a situation where you can speak to someone, even if it's just maybe like a conference or a meeting or job fairs or anything. Get your foot in the door,
Yeah.
let them hear you, let them come close to you, and then it just dispels a few things for them, and
Right.
then they start to see you in a different light.
Right. So after getting those rejections, you went to, you say, Venezuela.
Yes.
Was it hard for you to get a job in Venezuela?
No, it wasn't, because Venezuela is a Spanish speaking country, and because I was coming from an English speaking country and I'd had 12 years of education in English, I was seen as, yeah, an English speaker.
Right.
My advice sometimes is go to countries that need you, not
Right.
countries that you want. Go to countries that need you, because when they
Yes.
need you, they will tear down doors for you. You enter there, you get your credibility, and then you become a shiny metal to all the other countries that don't want you. And then you can start choosing, which is what I do now.
Wow. 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 So guys, hear that? Go to countries that need you. I know a lot of us, we are set on one specific country, but as she's saying, go to countries that need you. So you went to Venezuela. How long did you stay there? And where did you go after Venezuela?
So I went to Venezuela and I was there for about a year and a month, but I'd already gotten my job in the US from that 1 year that I spent in Venezuela.
So let me break this down. Now that you're
Okay.
in Venezuela,
Yes.
you're no longer saying your English proficiency is not on par.
No.
They're no longer saying you do not have enough professional development because you would have been doing these things now in Venezuela. So,
Yes.
in actuality, what you did was you went to Venezuela to add to your credentials, add to your resume,
Yes.
fix things up, and make it so that they want you. As
They
you say, they,
wanted it.
the shining metal, and now they want it.
Yes. They don't. I don't know if this comes out sounding bad, but some countries have so many people applying to them that they have the chance to choose. And so they
Yes,
don't, why do the work to clean up a teacher when other teachers are more, they're just there. They're easier for you to have on your team. But when a teacher goes off to another country, one, it shows your passion. It means that you will teach in that country where not many people are running there because
yes,
maybe that's not the preferred country for them. Two, you have your teaching experience. Three, they write a reference for you on your performance there. So that's usually like a stage for you to display, in my opinion.
yes.
You go there, you show them what you're worth, they will write a reference for you, and that reference will always stand for you. Hello? There seems to be a lag.
Okay, sorry about that, Janet. Are you still there?
I'm still here. It's technology. Don't worry, I've worked in countries where technology was horrible, so I just sat there waiting.
Right. So Nadine is asking what courses or program, whether traditional or face to face or online, maybe you should do a session on that. Oh, I thought it was for Janet. I'm sorry. So Janet, since you were now in Venezuela and you applied for a job in the United States, can you tell us now about your experience in the United States? Because I'm sure our viewers want to hear how things turned out when you eventually went to the United States. So that's the second country you went now to teach,
Yes.
Venezuela, and
Yes.
then to the United States. But then you have taught in like over 6 countries. So that tells us something, right?
Yes.
So let's hear about the
So
United States.
So when I went to the United States, I was so happy. It was my birthday and Christmas all rolled in one because it felt like I'd finally gotten what I really wanted to do, even though I'd gone in a roundabout way of doing it. Now, when I got to the US, because I went to the US on the shortage teacher route, there was a teacher shortage. So now I was now called in. Oh, come, we remember you. Come on. Now you've shown us that you can work somewhere else, and they've said that you can
Yes,
work. So I went to Venice, I went to the US, and I went to a place in Texas. And as you know, when they bring teachers in, they send you to the rural areas because that's where the most of the shortages are.
yes,
Ah, I don't know if anyone knows Texas and Odessa. I can't name the school, obviously, for professional and safeguarding reasons. However, it
yes,
was a very small school. I think there were just uh, about 100 students in the whole school. And I enjoyed it. It was a nice community. We all sort of knew each other, but I felt lonely. I felt really lonely. One, I missed my Nigerian food. Even as far as Venezuela was, there was an African shop there run by a
Wow.
fantastic Yoruba woman, and Sundays at her shop was just the best thing for me. But when I went to Odessa, um, first of all, my children were very young, and for some reason, they didn't mix really well with the children there because many of them had never really seen someone from Africa. So we got all the questions like, do you have pet lions? Do you, and all those kind of things. And I felt it was weird because I'm coming from Africa, looking at the United States like, oh, wow. And I just felt, you guys should be a bit more knowledgeable here. Come on, I know about you guys. You guys should know about me, that sort of thing. Anyway, so
Right.
I stayed there for about a year and a half. And then I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to leave.
This this
I've
is
done it.
not USA.
Yes, I've done it. I've ticked it off, and the world is now my oyster. I'm going everywhere else. And that's when I started my long journey.
So would you go back to the United States to teach though?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So you mentioned that the program called you. Was it the same program that rejected you had called you the following year to come to the United States?
No, it was a better program this time. I was going for the because I felt like I was not worthy. I think I felt my confidence wasn't at the level when I first applied. So I was going for the smaller jobs, thinking, okay, with my small qualifications from Nigeria, very little qualification, they will take me. But when I applied from Venezuela, I think I'd now gotten a bit more confident. I was feeling
Yes.
invincible, like what they have that it's
Yes.
so I applied to some really big programs, and yeah, I was surprised. I got 3 offers, and I went to Odessa because my my brother-in-law had a friend who had worked there, so I felt like okay, I know
Yes.
someone who knows Odessa, so I'm going to Odessa. But yeah, but um I had three offers, so I went there.
Do you remember the name of the program that you went on?
Yes.
Do you mind sharing it or not?
I could share it, but I don't know. I didn't ask them if I could share it. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, what was next after the United States?
So after the United States, I came to the UK, and I decided that I would get the certification in the UK this time and then see because now I thought, do you know what? I've done Venezuela, I've done the US. I want the UK qualification, and then all doors will open to me. So I registered for a PGCE, but before I registered for a PGCE, I had a bit of a hiccup on the way, and I have to tell you this. So when I came to the UK, I thought I've worked in Venezuela, I've worked in the US, the UK will embrace me with open arms.
Another hurdle.
Another hurdle, another big one. Um, so I volunteered again. I decided I would volunteer so that I could get to know what the UK schools were like. So apparently in the UK, there are some courses that they do in the UK that I didn't need in America. And so I had to go through that process of getting them to vet me because of their safeguarding rules here, which is really, really stiff. They had to vet me. They had to make sure that I was worthy to be in the classroom. I was not going to be a threat. For instance, in the UK, in the US, we could film the children in the classrooms. In the UK, it's a no. You can't film any of the children. You can't do anything with the children. I see teachers on TikTok, and you can see
Yeah.
the children, and
Yes.
I'm there thinking, oh my God, I remember when we used to do this, but they don't do that here. So I had to go through another vetting process here. I had to show
Yes.
them that I could actually do what they were doing here. So I volunteered, but after 15 days, I got a job. I got a job after 15 days because then I could show that I could teach. So it was easy.
Okay. So it wasn't to do with your credentials coming from the United States or Venezuela. It's just that they weren't I don't think I'm getting why you couldn't get a job as soon as you got there.
So in the UK, um, first of all, you have to have QTS, and with my credentials were still not comparable to the UK, which is why I tell people if you want to work anywhere in the world, just try and get a UK qualification or get all the CPDs they do in the UK. When you do that, I mean, theirs is the one of the hardest ones. If you get that, then you can work pretty much anywhere, which is why
What
I
is a
came to.
QTS? What is a
Uh,
QTS?
it's qualified teacher status.
Okay. So if somebody in Nigeria, can they stay in Nigeria and get, you know, credentials from the UK from where they are in Nigeria?
Yes, you can. If you go, so TES does the qualifications. The Open University does that as well. They'll do it for you, even if wherever you are in the world, they will send people out there to make sure they check you and vet you, and before they
Mm,
give you the qualifications. It's very rigorous, but we know what the UK is like.
all right. So, I'm not sure. You have a WhatsApp group that you work with teachers, right?
Yes, I do.
Right. Is that something you'd like to share that if somebody would like to get more information, they could reach out? Because I'm
Yes,
sure if I'm in Nigeria and I'm trying to get some help, I would want to find out from somebody who I know has the experience in, you know, getting these QTS and CPD and all the acronyms and all the stuff, you know, to get where I need to go. All right. So
yes.
maybe at the end you can share that with us.
Yes, I can because it's mine. So I have a diaspora teaching Sunday tonic that I do. I also have a WhatsApp group which I will share with you. I can leave you the links to that. I also started a YouTube channel. 2 months ago, I think January this year, I started a YouTube channel because it's one thing for someone to give you the link if you're Nigerian to a job. And it's another thing for you to meet the criteria for you to get that job. I would never have survived if I didn't have people helping me along the way. And
Right.
I just try give them as many tips as possible on that group. And I can see some of them have been commenting on this space because I shared it with them and I said, just come on and just learn a few things. There's so many continuous development professional courses that you have to do. And if you try to pay for those courses, you will end up running yourself bankrupt. I have like the inside, I just give them the insider scope of how to get these courses for free. Come on, Teachers Reward is
For
not just in
free.
heaven. Teachers
For
Reward
free. Did
can
you
be on
say
earth.
free?
Yes.
Okay, then you called my name, so I'm on board. Keep going.
So they can get all these courses and it will just do them a world of good. The currency exchange rate in Nigeria is abysmal at the moment, and I do not it's hard when someone's trying to make a goal for himself in the world, especially if they love traveling like me. You know
Yeah.
that traveling costs a lot of money in the first place. So if you can get a few things along the way for free, then it'll just help you travel faster. If I just put it
Yes.
that way. Yes.
All right, guys. So be on the lookout. She'll be sharing our WhatsApp link as well as your YouTube name. What's your YouTube name? I'm going to put that in the comments so that they can follow and learn some more about how they can get some of these CPD and eventually get their QTS, their qualified teacher status for England. She
Yes.
did mention what she did to get to the United States and then to, you know, England. We know you taught like in Canada and other countries. Can you share those experiences with us?
So after I finished my PGCE in the UK, I decided, okay, now I have the license from America, I have the license from the UK. Where do I want to go next? Because I want to get paid now. I've spent all this money, it's time to get paid. So I went to the Middle East and I
Mm.
loved it. I loved it in the Middle East. It was fantastic. And one of the things I love about working in the Middle East is that first of all, my house came with my package. I got a villa which was free with my package. I had return flights. I had tuition free for my children. It was just fantastic. And I
Wow.
stayed in the Middle East for, I did 4 years in Egypt and 2 years in Oman.
Wow. You liked it there because you only spent like a year in Venezuela and a year in the USA.
I loved it,
Yeah.
and I still love it in the Middle East. I mean, I grew up in the northern part of Nigeria, so I'm used to Ramadan and the fact that you have to be respectful when it's Ramadan, not to eat around people. So being in the Middle East was like going home for me, you know. So it
Yeah.
was really nice. Yeah,
All right. Someone was asking when you came to the United States, was that on a J1 or a H1B visa?
H-1B visa.
It was H1B. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
The H-1B I found is better. It's less restrictive because on the J-1 visa you are tied to the county, and the county makes sure that they they get their money's worth from you. But I went on the H-1B visa, which means that I could I was not tied to any contract or anything, which is why you need to make yourself shine so that they treat you better. That's
Yeah.
my advice.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Doreen is saying, what made you stop teaching in the United States and come to the UK to teach?
Right. So in the United States, I found I wasn't being supported as much as I. So when I came to the United States, when I went to the United States, sorry, I was already enjoying mentorship and camaraderie between staff and all that. But when I came to the United States, I found out that most of the time I was left on my own. I was a new teacher. They left me on my own. They would just assume that I knew everything. And it, I didn't know. At a point, I felt like I didn't know what to do
Yeah.
because even though I had worked in Venezuela, I didn't know the customs. I didn't know the culture. I didn't know the children. I didn't know so many things in the US. And I just felt left at sea.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is not the first an international teacher has shared this. I think it is taken for granted that once you're a teacher in your home country and you come to the United States, then you already know the meaning of all the acronyms. You already know what to do. You can be, trusted to just be a teacher. But the true reality is this: every country has their own culture of how they do things. And as a new teacher, I think everybody should get that mentor, somebody to, train them, somebody to guide them. Some school districts do a good job of it and some don't. And I don't think it's deliberate that they don't. It's just that they may just take for granted that, you have so many years teaching experience in your home country. You should know what to do when you get here. So that's
Yes.
something that's definitely something a lot of teachers have spoke about.
Yeah. Can I just add here that another thing was, I think this was peculiar to Texas as well. I found the curriculum was very restrictive. Now, see, because I was coming from Nigeria, I'd gone to Venezuela. I knew a lot more about the world. First of all, because our curriculum uh, is wide. It's modeled after the British curriculum, and the Brits always look outside of themselves. They don't just look at what they do and that's it. So I was teaching them a geography class one day. It was a geography lesson, and we're looking at place names in Massachusetts. And I was trying to link Massachusetts to places in England. I was like, oh, there's Worcester, there's Amherst, and those places get their names from this other country because of the settlers that came in. And I remember, I remember my supervisor came in and said I was not teaching to the curriculum. I was supposed to be promoting American excellence. I said, I know that, but I just want to give them this backstory because children like a story, you know. If you give them the backstory, then it will help them reinforce the knowledge. And I think I got in trouble a few times, and I remember trying to explain to them, I would really like it if someone can just put me through with what I'm supposed to do, because this is how, I like to give the backstory to things that I teach. And if I'm not supposed to give the backstory to what I'm teaching, then what am I supposed to do? If you tell me and mentor me, then it'll be easy for me to, stay within the
Yeah.
lines. And that was the part for me that was really, really hard. The part that there's no mentoring, but the consequences come when I don't follow the rules that I don't know about. So
So, in essence, stick to the curriculum and do not try to get the kids to understand on a wider level and make a connection. Just stick to what is mentioned in the curriculum.
yes.
Wow. Somebody was asking, are you a primary or secondary ed teacher?
So I teach primary, but I'm qualified to teach up to what we will call year 9 in the British curriculum, or grade 8 in the American curriculum, or grade 8 in the Australian curriculum.
Okay, good. So someone is interested to know, how did you transition from Nigeria to Venezuela? Was that an agency that you used?
No, I just went on Google. I told you I sent out about 300 applications. I went on Google, looked at the schools in Venezuela, and I just decided, first of all, I looked at the schools that will accept me from Nigeria as a non-native speaker. And then I went on to the internet, and I tried to find as much as I can. I think it was not Google at the time, it was Yahoo at the time, because that was such a long time ago, about 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
And
just applied directly to the school.
I applied to every single school. I remember going through an agent, and she told me that they will not employ me. She told me not to try. She said, "You will not be employed. You don't have the chance to get any job outside of your home country." But I never take no for an answer. So
Why would she say that? Why she said that?
I don't know. But like you can't let someone determine your destiny. If I
Right.
had if I had listened to her, and I
You would
had
have still been
not,
in Nigeria.
I would have still been in Nigeria. I would not have traveled the world. I would not have seen, I don't think I would have seen the next country next to Nigeria. But I don't let people deter me if I make up my mind to do something. So yeah,
Yes. So, when you got this job in Nigeria, you had to get a visa. You had to get a work visa to go
I
to
have to,
Venezuela. So you
yes.
went to the embassy in Nigeria for that visa.
So the school did everything for me. Like I said, go where you're needed. When they need you, they will do everything for you. The school did everything for me, and I just had to take my passport to. I did. There's no embassy. There was no embassy of Venezuela in Nigeria at the time. I think I had to travel out of Nigeria, and the school paid for all of that. They paid for me to go and get the
Wow.
visa. They paid for me to do everything, and take my family as well.
Wow. And then when it was time for you to go to the United States, did you have to go back to Nigeria to get that visa for the US?
No, I just I just went straight from Venezuela to the US.
So there was a US embassy in Venezuela then.
I had to go to Mexico, and then from Mexico to the US. So I didn't have to go back to Nigeria. That's what I meant.
Okay, gotcha. Wow. So, so excited. So many good things we're learning this evening, guys. I'm sure you are learning a lot from Miss Barlow today. And if you have not liked the video as yet, go ahead and stop for 1 minute and hit that thumbs up button. Show some appreciation. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. I know you have more questions. Go ahead and put those in the comment section, and we're going to move on. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us? I know you say you've been traveling with your children, and how were the kids with the traveling at such young age, and how did
Oh,
they, progress afterwards? Because basically, you've been traveling all your life.
I have been well. all of my adult life, but they've been traveling all of their lives. So my son was almost about 2 when we left, and he's 22 this year. So
Wow.
we've been everywhere. They didn't like it at first, not because they didn't like the traveling. I think for them, they didn't like the fact that they will make friends and then would leave, and then they'll make friends and then we'll have to leave. But now that they're older and they can actually go everywhere, they look at me and they thank me. Today's Mother's Day here, and one of the things my son sent to me today was that he said, "Mom, you opened our eyes. You made us see the
Wow.
world. Despite
Mm-hmm.
all the no's you got, you made sure that you paved the way for us so that we didn't have to do all of this." And
Wow.
I cried. I cried a little bit.
I
Because
am
I was
getting
like,
chills. I am getting chills, and I'm not his mom. Happy Mother's Day. It's not
thank
Mother's
you.
Day where we are in the United States,
No,
but it's Mother's Day in England. So, guys, go and tell Miss Barlow Happy Mother's Day. And that's so sweet of your son. I'm sure you had to cry.
I cried. I
But you,
couldn't help myself.
yes. So you say at first they didn't like it, but after a while they got into it and they enjoyed traveling.
Yes, yes. And now in our house, we have different days. We have different days for foods that we learned to cook in different parts of the world. So we would have like Venezuelan dishes or Egyptian dishes or Omani foods, and all those kind of things. We were in Myanmar for a bit, and we learned how to cook Burmese food. So yeah, it was nice. One of the things I loved to do with them everywhere we went was that every Saturday morning we would always we would always have a teacher, a language teacher, to teach us the local language, because it helped us to make friends faster.
Hmm.
It helped us to take on the culture, so that when I'm teaching in the classroom, I'm not tone deaf. Because sometimes what I would say in the classroom, if I was not thinking about the culture, the local culture, it could be misconstrued. And when you get that, parents start to get iffy, and before you know it, they start to look at your passport. They start to wonder if you're really fit for the job. So yeah, I did everything I could to not just learn the get the qualifications. I also learned about the culture, learned to eat the food. I would go out and explore my local area. So yeah, Gulliver's
Yeah.
Travel.
Wow. Somebody's asking, what's your advice to a Nigerian teacher in terms of moving to teach abroad between UK and US, which is easier?
Um, right now there's a shortage everywhere, so it just depends on where you want to go. Just have it at the back of your mind that they would not open the doors to you and welcome you with open arms. You would have to do some work on your part. Because of that, the US might be easy because they don't need as many qualifications as the UK does. However, they're more intense in the fact that when you come, they see you as a professional. The UK will give you, so in the UK, for instance, when you get your QTS, your qualified teacher status, you still have your NQT year. So even though you're qualified, you still have a whole year where they're still following you about. There's a mentor assigned to you that's paid by the government that follows you everywhere and makes sure that you're ticking all those things you learned when you were doing your degree or your PGCE. So there's that.
Yeah.
It's like having stabilizers on your bike. You know how to ride your bike, but someone's still there guiding you. In the US, they feel like you're a professional and you're coming there as a professional, and a professional should not be babied, if I want to,
Right.
if I put it that way.
Yes.
So it depends on how much work you're going to put in on your own. If you know that you're able to put in a lot of work on your own and do all these courses that you need to do and know where to go for knowledge and know where to go to support yourself, then go to the US because you will enjoy it there. However, if you were like me, hoping that someone will support you all with every step of the way as a new teacher in the country, then it might be easier for you to go to the UK. However, there are so many more countries in the world for you to go to. These are not the only two countries. Go where
Yes.
you're needed. Go where they will
Somebody's asking,
pamper you.
I'm sorry, somebody's asking, can you tell us more about teaching in Egypt? She says, I love Egypt and Oman.
Oh my God.
What was teaching like there?
Where do I start? Okay, so Egyptian mothers are like Nigerian mothers. They're very, very. If you tell them that their child knows seven things, but there's just one thing the child needs to know to improve, they will leave all the seven things you've told them that are good about the child and concentrate on that one thing because they feel right. You don't know this, we're going to drill this into you, that sort of. They're quite intense. But on the plus side of things, it means that you have parents who are involved, you have parents who are engaged, you have parents who want the best for their children, and
Yeah.
and you would never have any problems with them. If you call them for teacher meetings, I mean, in the UK, you'll call some parents for parents meetings, and you'll be lucky if you have of the half of the parents attending. But in Egypt, they will come. They will bring their
Wow.
grandparents. They will, yeah, you'll be bombarded. Yeah,
Wow. So they are involved.
involved. They are
On the
involved.
topic, on the topic of the different countries, which country would you say is the best country you have taught in?
Oh my God. I
And
love them all.
apart from the food, the culture, I'm talking just now as a teaching profession.
Hmm. I love them all because they all have different parts that made me who I am today. I learned to be
Hmm.
self-sufficient in the US. In the UK, I learned to make sure I cross my T's and I dot my I's, or else they will come for me, because they've shown me how to do it so many times. Because of the
Yeah.
mentoring that they give me, they expect me not to make mistakes. So in I learned that from the UK. In Egypt, I learned that parents can be intense, very, very intense. So you have to make sure that you know what you're saying, because if you say something and you have an intense parent coming after you, you'll be in trouble if you're just saying it because you just want to say. For example, you can't just write reports and just write because you want to finish and meet your deadlines. No, you have to sit down and think about those reports because they will go through it like with a fine-tooth comb. Um, in Myanmar, I liked the fact that they were quite chilled. There's a certain respect that they have for teachers in the Middle East, in Asia, Southeast Asia. It's they respect you a lot, and I remember I used to get so many anything I said to the parents, they would take it as if that was the law. And I'm like, no, it's just a suggestion. Just put on BBC or put on English programs for your child so the child could get the listening and the speaking aspect. And they would not let the child watch anything else. They would make sure the child would watch only American shows or only British shows. And I'm thinking, oh, that's too much. I'm asking you to, but that's the kind of respect that they have for teachers over there.
Hmm. Wow.
Um, so I would say I enjoyed every country. I left my
All
heart
of them.
in every single country. Yeah.
All right. So, Michael, if you are new to this channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton, I share a lot about different J1 and H1B programs, sponsors. You can subscribe to learn more. For those who are saying Happy Mother's Day, thank you. I know that's for Miss Barlow, but she might not be able to see it. So, thank you guys for shouting out Happy Mother's Day to her.
Happy Mother's
Um,
Day. Thank you.
Cassandra is saying, I'm looking to apply for jobs as a special needs teacher. What country would you advise I go to? Also, do not mind getting certified afresh, but getting countries that offers the course is different. So she has taught in a lot of countries. I guess I don't know what your response is. She's saying which country you think would be good for her trying to find a special needs job.
So in the past, I would have told you go to the US because they have they have a lot of emphasis on sped
Special
teachers.
needs, yes.
Yeah, but after COVID, special needs became something that every country started talking about, because we have children who have so many gaps in their learning, because for 2 years their learning was disrupted. They had, some of the children had teachers who, they had parents at home who had not been, who were not used to being involved in their children's education up to that point, and now they were left alone with Zoom or Google Meet, or all those things, and they didn't know how to support their children. So, and you know, one thing about children's learning, once there's a gap, the gap doesn't get smaller, it gets bigger. So a child has a gap in year one, for instance, and can't synthesize phonics, and he gets to year two, he can't read. He gets to year three, he can't read, he can't write at the level he's supposed to be writing. And by the time he gets to secondary, you see, the gap is so wide, he cannot cope with chemistry, physics, he can't cope with anything, because he didn't have the building blocks to
Yeah.
put all those things together. So do you know what, just choose whatever country you want to go to, because every single country needs special needs teachers right now. It's hot.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to take a 30-second break. If you have questions, you can put those in the chat. Miss Barlow, if there's something you'd like to share with us after that 30-second break, please let us know. But guys, go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and we're going to come right back to get those questions answered. All right, so we're back. I have almost saying, what countries need and would take Nigerian teachers now?
Hello?
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I could hear you now.
Yes. Oma is saying, what countries need and would take Nigerian teachers now?
Okay. If you go to countries like, so first of all, it depends on your qualification. If you, what I would say is, don't concentrate on the countries, concentrate on making yourself fortified first. Fortify yourself. Get on those courses that you can prove that you're a special ed teacher and that you're a practicing special ed teacher. If you say you're special needs or special ed, and you haven't worked with in a special ed classroom in the past 2-3 years, you don't have the relevant experience. That's my advice. When I look at people's CVs, I like to look at your relevant experience before I can say, okay, you can come join my school, for instance. And if you don't have it, show me that you're already doing a course right now, or you're practicing it in your classroom, or trying to get the skills. Then I can see that you're channeling your mind to that area. If you come to me and I don't see anything special eds on your CV, then I'll be worried. How would you support the children in the classroom, especially if you're going to a place like America? Remember, you're a professional going into America. You teaching is not the way it is in Nigeria, where people finish secondary school and they're given a classroom to teach. No, here you're a professional. You cannot come with that mindset to this country, because they see the children as the future, and they have to take care of the future, because if they don't take care of the future, then they'll be doomed. So please fortify yourself. I will leave all the links to the websites where you can get courses. Get those courses, start them, put on your CV as ongoing, then you're doing a better job for yourself. Then I can tell you, okay, you can apply to this country or that country. If you have those things already, maybe think about going to America, because America is very, very good for special eds. And they always have jobs for special ed teachers. Always. It's a huge, huge thing in America. I'm sure Dr. Brittany will agree with me.
Right. So almost saying I'm asking specifically for Nigerian teachers because I have had a lot of NOs. Sorry, a lot of no's. It is really tiring. I am qualified. I have my B.Ed, my CELTA, my English language, my IG. And I'm going to go back from what Miss Barlow is saying. Go where you're needed. You might be trying to go to the United States, but you might be able to get a job in a different country. And so now you need to start seeking these other opportunities. Janet said when she started looking at that time, it maybe was, you say Yahoo, that you went
Yes.
on and did your search and you found a job in Venezuela. You applied to a lot, you got accepted to one. That was her um that was her way of climbing the ladder to get from Nigeria to Venezuela and then to the United States. So, yes, Omo, it can be frustrating. It can be tiring. You're trying, you're getting all these no's because you're focusing on this one country. Start looking on other countries. Look at their needs for teachers. See if your qualifications match what they're looking for and put an application in. It might be that you are going to end up somewhere first before you eventually come to the United States. That's what I am getting from what Miss Barlow is saying. Is it?
Yes. Yes, it is. Um, if you're going to the United States, another advice I can give is that if you're going to the United States and you're dead set on the United States and you want to go as a teacher and you're not getting teaching roles, I would advise you go for step yourself down just a little bit. Maybe take a graduate assistant job if you're going in for the older learners, or go for maybe a special ed assistant, because you know what, you're already qualified. Because you're already qualified, the only thing you don't have is American experience, and they know that teaching in America you will not get as much support, so they will be very skeptical about employing you. But if you go for that support role, you can actually look at what the teacher's doing in the classroom and you're learning as you go along, and you can then apply for the jobs as soon as they come up. I know that some of the people I've mentored have gone that way. They go in and they're teaching assistants or learning support assistants, and when they're in the classroom, 3 4 months, they move. It's easier to move because you already have the qualifications, as you said. So think about that.
Yeah. You did mention being a teaching assistant. The only issue I would foresee with that is that not a lot of school districts sponsor for like teaching assistant. So
No,
that's gonna be another issue. They will definitely have to find
but
some way
charter.
where they can get sponsored to, be an assistant teacher. But yeah. Vivian is asking between the US and the UK, which is less expensive to travel to as a math teacher with a family.
um
And I'm assuming from Nigeria, right, Vivian?
if you're thinking about the costs, the airfare, the US is more expensive. If you're thinking about the visas, the UK is more expensive. Even though it's cheaper to get to the UK has you have to get a work permit, and if you're a family of four, you would spend about £7,000, which is not what you will spend going to the US. So think about how much you have. Think about your budget. Would you rather spend money on airfares, or would you rather spend money on the visas? It's cheaper. The visas to the US are cheaper.
Okay. Um, Can one teach in the US without PGCE and QTS?
Yes, there's an equivalent that's run by, and you, if you want to do it online, for instance, you can go on Teachaway. Teachaway does free. They do their online equivalent, but then you still have to do an aspect of your training in the US, and it's run by states, because, as you would back me up on this, Dr. Britton, the US, if you're a teacher in Texas, for instance, you can't just leave Texas and go to Washington. You've got to get the license for Washington as well. You've got to convert your license. So because
Yes.
of that, when you get your qualification through things like Teachaway, you have to be sure you're going to stay in that state when you get your qualification there, because when you do your practicum with the state, you're certified by the state board, and you have to stay in that state to work. So yes, you can go you can go do that on Teachaway. PGCE, they use it in the UK, but then you can use it everywhere else. Now, if you want to go to the US and you don't want to be a teaching assistant, you can work at a charter school. Charter schools, as you will back me up, Miss Dr. Britton, charter schools are not, they have a more flexible employment rota. They're not fixed to the K-12 curriculum, so you can work at a charter school. They won't pay you as well, but if you want to get into the US through a charter school, you can get in that way. It's like a private school, sort of. Now, when you get in there, make sure you're not sleeping. You stay on it, and you look at schools with the school districts after that, because now you can show that you have the US experience and you're in the US, so you can get to the jobs easily that way.
Okay. Okay. I think I got that one. I think I got all the questions. I have 10 years in elementary. I have a PGDE and master's. Please, I need links to apply. Nani, if you're just joining, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of information is shared on my website. On my YouTube channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton. I'm asking for other countries apart from US and UK. Yes, and I think that's what we were responding to. I think you want Janet to give specific countries that you can apply to. I think maybe that's what Oma was referring to. I only have bachelor's in economics education with okay, all right. I think I have all the questions. I have a master's. I also have, how can I apply? How do you apply for a teaching job? Just as how you apply for a teaching job in your home country, that's the same thing you do if you see a teaching job advertised
You
in the
apply.
United States. You apply just as how you apply for a teaching job in your home country. The difference is some program sponsors you can apply. We have some things that is called a J1 program sponsor. You can apply to a J1 program sponsor and they can assist you in finding a job in the United States. Or you can do what is called direct hire. You go to the school district's website and you apply directly to the school district. All this information is shared on my YouTube channel, Kicking with Dr. Britton. Again, Miss Janet, can you tell me what's the name of your YouTube channel so I can put it in the comment section below?
So it's Diaspora Doodles, because I'm doodling my my journey through the world.
Diaspora Doodles.
Yes.
You can find her also on IG. And what's your IG handle?
Diaspora Doodles, on every
Diaspora
platform.
Doodles.
Yes.
On all platforms, Diaspora Doodles. You can find Miss Janet Barlow, and she will provide you with additional support if needed. And she does have a WhatsApp group
What's up?
where she mentors teachers as well. She's going to
Yes.
share that link with me, and at the end of the video, I will leave it in the comment section with all the links to our YouTube or social media, as well as our WhatsApp link to her group. All right. So somebody's saying, hello, Danielle. Are you saying Teachaway program is free?
Teachaway program is not free. Search Associate is not free. Test is free.
So Teachaway offers
Uh,
a test, you say?
so Teachaway does, they certify teachers to get the teaching qualification, especially if you want to teach in America. Test, that's Times Educational Supplement, but everyone just calls it tests. They do the UK one. The Australian one is handled by, I will leave that link. I will give you all the links to all this
Okay.
websites. I will send it to you. I will also send you links to Cobb County, because my friend works at Cobb County. We worked in Odessa when I was there, and she's now moved to Cobb County, and they're desperate. They're desperate for teachers. Cobb County schools, they're desperate for teachers right now. She asked me if I knew anyone who wanted to work with them. So this is a good opportunity for you guys to bombard them with all the applications. Just make sure, so that you don't get no's, make sure you have your CVs ATS approved. Dr. Britton has CV preps and I have CV preps. Get everything on your CV properly sorted before you send it in, or else you keep getting no, and it's very demoralizing for you to keep getting no's. It just makes you not want to do the job, but there are ways around it.
So Time Educational Supplement is a certificate for teachers that they can get for free through Teachaway.
It's no, it's not through Teachaway. Teachaway is a different website. Test is a different website. They
Okay.
have they have certifications for teachers. They're not free, but there are certifications for teachers at a reduced price. Future Learn is the one that has the free courses that you can take. Free courses on Future Learn, futurelearn.com.
Okay. All right. So somebody's asking, was it easy to get a work permit for your husband to work in the different countries that you worked?
Yes, absolutely. The only country where it was hard was when we were going to Venezuela. um,
Okay.
because that was the first time we're leaving Nigeria. I don't know. There's something about our Nigerian passports that just gets them all worked up. It was hard going to Venezuela, but then after Venezuela, I mean, even when I wanted to go to other countries, as long as you're teaching in a country, you're in a work permit, getting visas to places is just easy after that.
Okay. Can I use Teachers Registration Council of the Nigeria certificate?
Yes, you can, but you need to remember when we said at the beginning, you have to upgrade it so that it's comparable. You can't just send your TRCN to the school. They're not going to take it. There's something called ENIC, and if you go on, I'll send you the. I don't want to give you the wrong details, but it's ENIC. That's the acronym for the website, and if you Google it, you will see it there. You have to compare your certificates. If you send your certificate in, it's valid in your country. You have to certify it, you have to authenticate it, and then you have to upload it onto this website where they're going to tell you if it's comparable to the country that you're going to, or if there are things missing, so that you know how to tweak it. Go get those things done, and then you can apply. If you just send it in, they're
So,
not going to take it.
so this ENIC, it sounds to me like what we call in the United States, the getting your credentials evaluated
That's the
through
one.
one of the NACE's approved body. So
Yes.
if you're a member of my channel, you would hear me saying one of the most important thing you need to do if you're gonna get a teaching job in the United States is to first get your credentials evaluated through a
Yes.
NACE's approved company. So I'm thinking ENIC is the same thing for London, right?
It's for Europe.
For Europe.
For
Okay,
Europe.
good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm a professional geography with all the J1 visa requirements for US. Can I apply into the CUP county as you mentioned? Nobody can stop you from apply if you see a job opportunity. Nobody. The only thing and the only way you're going to find out is if you apply. A lot of people reach out on my platform and say, "Can I apply? I have this." And the only way you're going to find out if you are eligible is for you to apply. Myself or Miss Barlow cannot tell you yes or no. Just like Miss Barlow said, a lady told her she was never going to get a job outside of Nigeria. That was not true. So I would say if you see an opportunity, the only way you're going to find out is to apply. That's the only way. All right.
Yeah.
I see you in the chat now, Diaspora Doodles. All
Yes.
right. Did you apostle or notarize your documents before going to Venezuela? What do you also
Yes.
think of? Such the answer is yes. And what do you also think of teaching in Colombia?
I think teaching in Colombia is the same thing as teaching in Venezuela. It's one of the things you can do to upgrade yourself. Go and teach where, because those countries are begging for teachers because people don't choose them first. So when you come to them, they will accept you with open arms. So go there, show them what you can do, let them be the reference point for you to then go to other countries. After I left Venezuela and I went to the US and the UK, to be honest, I don't. I prefer to then go to places now that I sort of ticked those off my list. I'm now going to places like Spain, like the Netherlands, like Belgium. Those countries are not English speaking countries. So you as a Nigerian, you will stand out there. You will stand out there. Go to Mexico, go to Uruguay, go to places where they want you. If you still want to go to the US, that's fine. Go to those places first, then use them to then go to where you want to go. When I finally got to where I wanted to go, I decided no, I wanted money because then I could choose. So give yourself that luxury of being able to choose by, yeah, going to places where they
Okay.
want you.
All right, guys. So we're gonna come to the end. You can find Miss Barlow on YouTube here at Diaspora Doodles. I see a comment there in the chat from her. Also find her on IG, Diaspora Doodles, all other social media platform, Diaspora Doodles, and she does have a WhatsApp link that she's gonna be sharing. You can find that. Come back to the video and check the comment section. I'll pin it there to the top. Okay. Miss Barlow, is there anything that you'd like to share with us that we did not ask?
Um, well, what I will tell you is Dr. Britton is there. I'm here. We are insiders and we're giving you the inside scope where it's like we're giving you the cheat code. Wherever you want to go, we will show you the way, but then we'll show you how to manage what your expectations when you go there. For instance, we can come here and just give you websites. Will it help you if you're just going there with the same things that you have? So take advantage of the help that we're giving you as insiders, as foreigners who have moved to this country, and we're telling you, get this on your CV, get that on your CV, put this on, add this. Just we're giving you the ingredients to make your CV stand out, so that when you send it in, ATS will not knock it off, that sort of thing. So take advantage of that.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you're not a subscriber so far on Kicking with Dr. Brittany, you need to go ahead and subscribe to get all the information you need. Also, go ahead and subscribe to Diaspora Doodles. You can find me as well on Instagram, Kicking with Dr. Brittany. Both of us are on the different platforms with the same names, Kicking with Dr. Britain or Diaspora Doodles. Get on to those channels so you can learn all the information you need. Remember to come back to the comment section to get that link to join her WhatsApp group. Reach out to her, guys, for all your additional questions, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everyone.